I broke my nail. Hi everyone, welcome to Grafted and today we are back with another video. What are we talking about?
Our motive in God's kingdom.
So without further ado, let's get on with today's seed.
Shalom. So the first thing that we're going to say is that motive is the underlying reason for an action. And we can prove that on Proverbs 16:2. All a person's ways seem pure to them, but motives are weighed by the Lord.
And another one that confirms that is also in Proverbs 21:2, which says, "Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts."
So, human beings can operate from a variety of motivations, often negative. Pride, anger, revenge, a sense of entitlement, or the desire for approval can all be catalysts for our actions. Any motivation that originates in our sinful flesh is not pleasing to God. And I want to read Romans 8. That's why those who are still under the control of their sinful nature can never please God. Never. There's no way.
No, because they're not operating in the spirit. They're operating in the flesh.
Exactly.
So, a verse to kind of back up is James 4:3. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. A lot of people ask, why am I not getting this? I'm praying to God every single day, but what really is your motive with what you're asking? Because some people really pray to be like, I want to have some money. God, please, like, give me this, give me that. That's the wrong motive. And having and asking with the wrong motives, you just won't receive.
I know. Sorry. When you pray those stuff and God knows that you don't need them, He's not just gonna give it to you.
Right.
Because He knows our intentions and our motive. So what is a right motivation or right motives? I want to read first to Daira.
I don't even know if I'm gonna see that. 1 Thessalonians 2:4.
2:4. For we speak as messengers, approved by God to be entrusted with the good news. Our purpose is to please God, not people. He alone examines the motive of our heart.
So for me, motives also comes with intentions, right? So that really spoke how and where those come from. And God really looks at the heart, because the heart is where all of that is accumulated. And that's where you accumulated your motives, your intentions.
God is interested in our motives, even more than our actions.
And that, when I read that verse that you just put, I was really impressed, because we don't really think about how much our motives are important, because our motives, we don't really say them. Obviously, if it's not a healthy motive, like you're leading with anger or you're doing something because of that, then that really you keep to yourself. It's not something you need to tell someone. Even if it's a good motive, you don't really tell anyone, because it's something for your personal benefit.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but there's a verse, I don't know what's it called, but it's like, don't tell your right hand what the left does, something like that. I know in Spanish, I just don't know how to say it in English, but something like that, right?
Yeah. I know what you mean. That's something that we don't see, but that's something that God sees, and it's something that He will see before your actions, because obviously you need a motive before you do something, and He will see that first, and He will go towards that and correct you if He has to, and do something in your life that will lead you to not do the action. Because once you do the action, it's kind of like too late for you. And it's going to lead you to do, if it's something bad and you did something bad, then it's going to lead you to consequences that you never wanted in the first place.
Personal satisfaction, such as taking a vacation or winning a competition, are not wrong in themselves. Motivation becomes an issue when we're not honest with ourselves about why we're doing things. When we give the outward appearance of obeying God, but our hearts are hard, God knows. We are deceiving. We are deceiving ourselves and others too. The only way we can operate from pure motives is when we walk in the Spirit.
Which again leads us to operating in the Spirit, operating in the flesh. When your motive is to just get a position in a ministry, to get a position in His kingdom, then you're absolutely doing the wrong motives and you're not going to get anywhere, because God sees your heart and your intention. And He will tell His leaders, He will tell His chosen, like, hey, this person is coming with this intention, or this person wants just a position. This person just wants to be seen because others are being seen. Then God is going to cut that off immediately. You can't really use a motive just to get somewhere for your own benefit. You got to work for it. You got to serve. You got to do all these things. You got to work on yourself. You got to have testimony. You got to have all these things. You can't just be there for a position, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So Galatians 5:16-25 says, "So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit is what is contrary to the flesh. They're in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, and debauchery, adultery, and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus, or Yeshua HaMashiach, have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking and envying each other." Oof. Which basically explains what we were talking about. It's operating in spirit or in flesh. When you're operating in the flesh, your motives change completely, because they're not always the best, right?
Yeah.
And it says right there that you're in a constant hatred. You're in a constant fight between your spirit and your flesh. And your spirit is not going to let your flesh do a lot of things, and your flesh is not going to let your spirit do a lot of things, and it's just a constant fight. The only enemy that you have is yourself.
Yourself.
No demon, no devil. That's just you.
Just you. You're your own enemy, your own
competitor.
Yes. El obstáculo que está en el medio.
The obstacle.
Yeah, you're your own obstacle.
Which we don't come to a realization until after something happens that you cause, and you're like, I want to do this, but I know it's wrong, right? In those fights, I want to do this, but I know it's wrong, and I'm not going to do it. But then you eventually do it. That's the fight that we as children of God have to break. And one day just knowing, remember, that's our purpose. To know Him and the only true God, and Yeshua HaMashiach, the one He sent to earth. That's our purpose, to know Him and understand Him. So once we do that, we have a full acknowledgement. In that way, that can lead us to just make decisions operating in the Spirit. That's healthy.
Yeah. So when we allow Him, God, to control every part of us, then our desire is to please Him and not ourselves. Our flesh constantly clamors to exalt itself, and only when we walk in the Spirit we will not gratify those desires of our flesh, like you said, like you were saying.
And that always comes with self-discipline. Something that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, but it's something that God has control over, and it will be something that we can all overcome. And to attach that to Proverbs 16:2, it says, people may be pure in their own eyes, but the Lord examines their motives. Things may seem pure to us, but God knows our motives.
Yeah, He will know. It's like everything you do, everything you think, He knows it.
Right.
There's nothing, no, nada lo tapa.
Nothing covers it.
Nothing covers it. So yeah.
Yeah. It was a really nice topic to talk about, because it is something that a lot of people don't have clear, that their own enemy is themselves. And their motives, depending on what their motives are, will lead them to consequences. Whether they're good or bad, there's still consequences. And coming to an understanding that you have to figure out yourself before you go out and figure out other people.
Yeah.
Because yes, you might want to, because they seem all messed up.
Yes.
But if you can't figure out who you are, what you want to do, who you are in His kingdom, what your motives are in His kingdom and the ministry that you are in, then how are you going to go out and do that with other people? So that's
There's
something.
no way.
Right.
You will try, but it's just not going to go well.
And that's something that we're learning. We're all learning now. And we're going to keep learning, and we're going to getting better and better at it until we get to where we have to be. I don't think it ever stops.
It will never.
It's just a constant learning.
Yeah.
Constant learning in your life that you have to accept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's good that we go to like that process, because then we learned. It doesn't matter, but we always gonna learn.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't see it like it's a bad thing. I just I'm like, okay, I'm learning. Yay.
Even though it hurts sometimes.
It does.
Because the one thing that everyone wants to have is to be right and correct and be the one. Just be the one. But it's not always like that. Yeah. We're all imperfect until, you do what you have to do and you come to a perfection into His kingdom. Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the Tina and Diseñada this week live. And yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Shalom.
Shalom.
Bye.